Hello and welcome to Get Decked, the video series where I make budget Magic the Gathering decks for your casual games night and to introduce friends and family members of the game. So this is the last of our budget 3-color decks for now. We're going to move on and we're going to look at Counterproductive, which is a blue, black, green deck, which is all about +1/+1 counters. So let's take a look at it. But first, let's remind ourselves of the Get Decked rules. So these decks are 60 cards. They're designed for 1v1 games. No format restrictions, mostly commons and uncommons. No cards that cost more than $2 at time recording. We limit ourselves to 12 different non-land cards for the good mix of consistency and variety. Strong themes, low to mid complexity, so a less experienced player can pick these up and play them and understand them absolutely fine. But just because it's a casual deck doesn't mean it has to be weak or bad. So yeah, let's dive in, look at the deck list and see what we're working with in this deck. So we've got 25 creatures. We've got 2 enchantments, 6 sorceries, 3 instants, and 24 land. We've got a mana curve off to the side there. Quite a high mana curve. It's quite a slow, grindy deck. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So let's take a look at it. So first, we're going to talk about how we're winning. So as mentioned, it's all about +1/+1 counters. But we're going tall with them. We're building up our creatures to be really big and tough and get a load of synergies from having +1/+1 counters. So first we're going to have 2 the Mimeoplasms. So 2 a black, a green, and a blue for a 0/0. As it enters the battlefield, you may exile 2 creature cards from graveyards. So that can be yours, opponents, combination thereof. Just really fun ability, I think. And if you do, it ends the battlefield as a copy of one of those cards with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the power of the other card. So yeah, just a super fun ability. So it just becomes a copy of like the best dead creature with a bunch of counters on it equal, to whatever, something else. I think even it comes in with like 2 or 3 counters on it. Pretty good. And like you potentially casting this maybe like turn 5, turn 6. There's going to be potentially some targets in there. I think it's just a really fun card. Yeah, how can you not like the Mimeoplasm? He's got a dinosaur for an arm, just great. Just a really fun card to include in here, I think. Then we've got 2 Alpha Deathclaw. So this is from the Fallout Universe Beyond set. In the Teeny Meanies, I had McCready, the Lamplight Mare. So maybe this is hinting at we'll see a Fallout deck maybe one day on Get Decked. Who knows? But Alpha Deathclaw is an absolute monster. So 4 black and a green for 6/6 with Menace and Trample. When it ends the battlefield, all becomes monstrous. You destroy a permanent, which is great. Just comes in, just kills anything, and is then also just a 6/6 with Menace and Trample. And then you can make it monstrous for only 7 mana, so ideally the turn after you've played it. So then it becomes a 10/10. And it then gets to destroy something again. So really great card. I really like it. Yeah, really fantastic, I think. Yeah, so good. Really like Alpha Deathclaw. If you want to be more efficient, I suppose you could maybe have fewer Mimeoplasms and more Alpha Deathclaws. Although Mimeoplasm could copy Alpha Deathclaw and then get that ability, and that would be really fun. Oh, who knows? But yeah, really like Alpha Deathclaw. And then we've got 3 Chasm Skulkers. Chasm Skulkers. Can't talk today. So 2 and a blue for a 1/1. Whenever you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. And when it dies, you make X 1/1 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Chasm Skulker. So ideally, cast this nice and early. We do have some card draw in the deck as well. This can build up, get counters. When it dies, who cares? Poops out a bunch of squids, which is great. Who doesn't love that? Yeah, Chasm Skulker's all right, I suppose. Just another cheaper creature that's going to benefit from having +1/+1 counters on it. So, sort of as with the Sliver deck, normally I divide this into 2 sections: the what helps us win and what stops them winning. But in this deck, because a lot of the things that get counters then also have benefits that then stop the opponent. Like we're sort of combining the topics together. There's a lot of overlay essentially. So yeah, we're just going to cover both kind of sections of the deck really at once here. So first we're going to have 3 Corpse-Rack Menace, which is, I feel like, an absolute must in a deck that's going to do +1/+1 counters. So 2 black and green for a 4/4, which is like it's an okay stat line anyway. It's a big creature. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. So this obviously just benefits pretty much everything in the deck. This obviously goes really nicely with the Mimeoplasm. It goes really nicely with Alpha Deathclaw. Then it's getting 4 counters. Chasm Skulker, whole bunch of stuff this benefits. This is one of the key cards in the deck, I would say. We've got 3 Hagra Constrictors, 2 and a black for a 0/0. Ends the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. 4 with Corpse-Rack Menace. Just saying, Corpse-Rack Menace, making all his buddies better. Every creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it, which should ideally be most creatures in the deck, they will have ways of essentially getting counters in some way. Has Menace, which just helps them be more evasive and get through and hit really hard. Yeah, so yeah, I just thought it was a really solid creature to include. For Dusk Shell Crawlers, 1 green for a 0/3. When it ends the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and every creature you control with a +1/+1 counter also has Trample, which obviously really helps when you're getting +1/+1 counters and getting stronger. Obviously, having Trample really helps out. So yeah, could not not include Dusk Shell Crawler. Really like it. We've got 4 Iron Apprentice. So this is I'm going to be honest. This is the one card that I thought I'm not 100% keen on. So I would not be offended if you wanted to swap this out for something else. So 1 mana just for a 0/0. It comes in with a single +1/+1 counter on it. But when it dies, if it has counters on it, you can move those counters onto another creature you control. So it's sort of like a modular ability. So it's still like I think okay. Like because there's a chance of it building up counters and it dying. At least those counters are then going to go onto something else, I suppose. Yeah, not blown away by an apprentice, but also it's like 1 colorless in a deck that's 3 colors. I thought that might be kind of okay, and it's like it's a 1-drop. It's like the cheapest thing we can do. It's just maybe something we do on turn 1. We've got 4 Anok Guide, so 1 and a green for a 1/1. When it ends the battlefield, you choose one. You can either put a +1/+1 counter on it, or you can search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, shuffle your library, put that card on top. And again, like I know this isn't maybe amazing. It's just a useful bit of utility, I thought, because like early game when you're like maybe trying to get all your colors matching up for 3 colors, you can cast this and like it's a land search ability, or if you really need like like a 2/2, at least you can do that, and get all the benefits from having counters on it as well. But yeah, I think it's one of these cards which is sort of okay at any stage of the game. Maybe, I don't know. And then we've got 2 Bread for the Hunt, so 1 a green and a blue. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter it deals combat damage to play, you may draw a card. Say a whole bunch of our creatures can get +1/+1 counters on them in some way, so potentially a whole lot of card draw, especially if we're getting the Menace and Trample. Yeah, just drawing a whole bunch of cards. We've always got something to do, which is good, I think. We've got 3 Condrix Command, so 1 a green and a blue. It's an instant. You get to choose 2 of these effects. You either return a creature or planeswalker to its own hand, counter an artifact or enchantment spell, put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature, or a player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into the library. I think most of the time you're going to be returning something to hand and putting counters on something else. I think most of the time that's what you're going to be doing. Not saying the other 2 abilities or options won't be useful at some point, but I think most of the time you're going to be bouncing something and putting counters on something else. I think that's majority what I think you'll be doing with it. We've got 3 Find and Finality, so you can cast one of these sides because it's a split card. So the Find side is 2 Golgari Hybrid mana, and you return up 2 type creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. The Finality side is 4 and a black and green. You put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, then everything gets -4/-4 turn. So ideally the thing is that, you're making one of your things stronger so it survives the -4/-4. So yeah, so like the option here is here either get back kind of some of the creatures that you want to cast again, or you've got like a sweeper option. So yeah, good to have the choice. And then we've got 3 Carnivorous Canopy, 2 and a green. You destroy an artifact, enchantment, or a creature with flying. And if its mana value is 3 or less, you get to proliferate, which means everything you got that's got a +1/+1 counter is going to get another +1/+1 counter, which again just really helps out what the deck's trying to do. Just like go really big with all these counters, and also it's just good to be a utility to get rid of troublesome artifact or enchantment or something with flying, which is kind of actually something the deck has a little bit of trouble dealing with. You don't have a huge amount of flying or reach or anything like that. So yeah, good to have it in here, I think. And then we're quickly going to talk about the mana base. So we've got 3 Opulent Paths, which is the Sultai Tri-land, comes in, taps and gives you black, green or blue. And then we've got 5 islands, 6 swamps and 10 forests. And that's it. And that's counterproductive. So I'd love to know what you think about this deck. This is the one I was kind of umming and ahhing a little bit on. Like I'm not sure if like the choices were the best. So I would really welcome some input on this one. If you think there's like some better options here for different cards maybe. So I'm not super feeling the Inok Guide or like the Iron Apprentice. But also, if you think, there's something else out there, definitely just stick a comment down below, like for suggestions and how the deck could be improved, or maybe you just like the look of it as it is. Who knows? I'd love to know, obviously, what you think about this deck and all the other decks we've looked at so far in this little recent batch of 5 triple color decks. Rest assured, the next series of Get Decked videos will be Bloomburrow. Hopefully, by now, by the time you watch this, it's been enough time for TappedOut to get their to get their stuff together and properly update, and like prices are kind of a bit more stable on certain cards. So yeah, keep an eye out. We'll definitely have the Bloomburrow Get Decked videos coming out very soon. But yeah, if you have liked these three color decks, definitely leave a comment down below. I do like doing these decks, which are also not tied to a set. I do like doing those draft archetype set limited videos as well. But I do like doing these kind of other where it's just a sort of like a random theme or just a random grab bag of things. Like I do like doing those as well. That's the whole point of Get Decked, is to really just to put some ideas out there for budget casual 60 card decks, I suppose. But I hope you've enjoyed this most recent batch. I say Bloomburrow will be the next set, so I hope you come back and join me for those. But until then, thanks for watching, listening, and have an amazing day.